restarted. They have to restart their business, start delivering to us, etc. And in conjunction with that, for the 9.5, we had to restart all the development work, finish off the vehicle to get such a fantastic car that you've seen out here. And on top of that, to start the separation from General Motors, to create this independent company. And that might also seem as a little issue, right? You just draw a new org chart and then you're in business. We have 23 countries where General Motors is responsible for the sales of our cars, the US being one, Canada being another. We had to separate from all of these organizations and markets and build up our own entity, like we have done here in the US, like we will do in the middle of August as it relates to Canada. But we have done that everywhere else in the world, in these 23 markets. A massive effort from the organization. And I could go on and talk about all of these fantastic activities that have now created a factory that is full of cars, full of activity, and we're cranking out cars as we speak, and I would say the employees deserve a lot of credit for that. The question is, of course, what will happen now? I mean, if we look at the future of Saab, what are the key activities? Well, first of all, we need to continue what we're doing. We need to separate from General Motors and create this independent company that I was talking about, which is what I would say not only our customers, our dealers, our partners, but also our employees are really looking forward to. We need to continue in that direction to build up an organization and a capability that can really deliver on this fantastic brand that we have. But if you look at the more strategic activities, how are we going to run the company? Well, first of all, it is our intent to concentrate all of our activities to Trollhättan in Sweden. In other words, product development, manufacturing, sales and marketing, management, and other staff functions will be focused into Trollhättan. And that's where we will build up the skills, the competence, the capacity to actually run the company. Manufacturing-wise, we will build everything except the 94X that we will build in Mexico in a GM facility as we have originally planned. And I can tell you there are many, many good business reasons from a Saab point of view to continue on that in that direction. But after that, everything else will be built in Sweden. We will also continue our efforts to develop cooperations with various kind of business partners. It's interesting to see that during this relatively tough period over the last 2 years, a lot of companies, small suppliers to big OEMs, have really showed an interest to work together with Saab. And we're in the middle of negotiating some pretty, I would say, impressive deals that you will see benefiting Saab as we go into the future. We've already signed agreements with a design organization to design, in particular, the new 9.3, which I can tell you will be a stunning vehicle. But also have we signed agreements as it relates to the development of a test fleet of electrical cars, which is something that is, of course, for the future, but very important to us to learn from this test fleet so we can develop serial production as we go along. So developing relationships with new partners that fit Saab is something that you're also going to see. The second part of our strategy is, of course, the brand. How do we take this brand into the future? And what I'd like to do is to show you a little film.
Saab kommer. Saab 93, den svenska bilen med flygkvalitet. Saab kommer. Se på den nya hela vindrutan. Karossen är pressad av kraftig stålplåt och helsvetsad. Saab kommer. Se på den stilrena inredningen med höj- och sänkbart baksäte och på de bekväma stolarna och den välutrustade instrumentbrädan. Saab kommer. Se på underhetsbehandlingen som sker direkt på fabriken. Saab kommer till er. Med den hela nya vindrutan. Ni kan också få den med automatkoppling, alltså utan kopplingspedal. Och ni kan få den i flera läckra färger. Och ni kan på 2-3 minuter förvandla er Saab till en bekväm sovplats för hela familjen. Saab 93, den svenska familjebilen med flygkvalitet.
I think that this is a fantastic film. You can look, of course, at many different aspects of this, but I would say the funniest part, I think, is when they talk about several different colors and they show everything in black and white. But I guess that was the technology that was available at that time. But why I'm showing you this film is as it relates to the brand as such. I think during this period we've gone through, we have learned really to understand that we have a tremendous heritage. We have a history in this brand that is unique when you compare it to many of our competitors, and something that we really need to use as we go into the future. We feel also that we have a very relevant brand, and if we can take this heritage into the future and apply the Swedish values that are so inherent in today's society, we think we have an excellent opportunity. As you heard earlier today, Victor Muller and myself had the opportunity to participate in the Mil Miglia, which for me was the first experience of a car race like that, and went beyond my imagination, I would say. But we also learned there also the value of the Saab brand. Here we have two-stroke Saab 93s from 1957 competing with the Aston Martins, the Ferraris, the Maseratis, the Mercedes, you know, all the top of the line premium vehicles. And here comes these two little two-stroke engines poking along there and competing really with these cars. Another, I would say, statement of this fantastic brand that we need to develop and need to make it into this unique brand that we're so proud of. I would say that a lot of debates have been going on about who won the race between Victor and myself. And I, of course, have this opportunity to tell you the story straight up, right, without interference from Victor. So, and I mean, my story is very simple. You just look at the scoreboard, and then you can see who was at the top, right? Which was, of course, myself. You will later on hear Victor's version, which will probably take about 30 minutes to explain. Anyway, this fantastic brand is, of course, a key of our strategy as we go into the future. But I would say also that last but not least, the new cars. We're launching the 9.5 sedan as we speak. After the vacation, the model year 11 9.3s will be in the marketplace with a lot of news happening throughout the model year. In April of next year, the 9.4X, our first entry into the crossover vehicle segment, will be in the marketplace. And in the middle of 2011, the 9.5 Sport Combi, the wagon version of the 9.5, will be starting its production. And then in 2012, the new 9.3 will hit the market, which is, of course, a key launch for us. So that's really when we need to prove how the new company is going to operate. But I would say it's also activities with new cars that actually is going to take us as a permanent member into the European premium segment. We're developing cars to compete directly with the Audis, with the BMWs, etc. And that's where we belong, and that's where we will be very competitive. A lot of discussions have been going on, of course, regarding a smaller vehicle, a Saab 92, a Saab 91, or whatever nomenclature we want to use. We're at it. We're working on defining what the requirements are, dimensions, what architectures we could use, etc. We don't have it in our plan yet, but rest assured that we're working on it.